Hello and welcome to another episode of Into the Pit. Today I'd like to talk about Laaz Rockit, Bay Area thrash come power metal band. But I'd like to focus on their fourth full-length album, Annihilation Principle. The band started out with the first full-length, City's Gonna Burn, which was more power metal. The follow-up it's also full-length, No Stranger to Danger, still in the power metal vein. They started getting thrashier on Know Your Enemy, but Annihilation Principle was probably the final point where they really hit the accelerator and the riffs became way more thrashy. Really solid album, came out in 1989. Laaz Rockit was always, or became known for that mascot figure always toying around with toxic substances, and so that was really cool. Or he was toting a Kalashnikov or something, and really GI type looking on the previous album, Know Your Enemy. But yeah, this was one of the albums that I got in the late 80s, or shortly after it came out, and it blew me away right away. So really crunchy riffs. Way back I thought there was a bit of, back then I thought there was a bit of overkill in there, there was a bit of anthrax in there, and but nowadays I obviously see it differently. I think they've got really their own style. Some really killer songs on here: Fire in the Hole, Mob Justice, Chain of Fools, Shadow Company. They did a cover of Holiday in Cambodia by the Dead Kennedys. Cover versions, I don't know. I'm not always a big fan of that, but I always prefer to have the band's own solid tunes. But that is quickly followed by Bad Blood, Chase and Charlie, Mirror to Madness, and closing the album is The Omen. So, yeah. The band's lineup was Michael Coons on vocals, Phil Kettner on guitars, Aaron Gellin on guitars, Victor Agnello, sadly passed away 2014, drums, and Willie Lang passed away 2018 on bass. The band has since returned with an album, the follow-up, First Things First, was Nothing Sacred, which I found was not a very memorable album. Very thrashy also, but it sort of plodded along and didn't have the same sort of songwriting power as I felt the previous albums had. Yes, that was 1991. The band took a long break and returned with their last album, Left for Dead, which also sort of went in here and out the other. As far as I was concerned, they didn't sort of continue in their signature sound, that really chunky, heavy, brutal, comparable to Heathen kind of production, really punchy, and probably due to multiple guitar layerings and Mesa Boogies and what have you. But sadly, the band never really came back. I think it must have also been a knock to lose two original members, and that doesn't stop other musicians from carrying on, or other bands from carrying on. So. Back to Annihilation Principle, just solid songwriting, great memorable hooks, great riffs. Really also a bit of an underrated album and an underrated band, if you ask me. I mean, and they were really part of the origination of the Bay Area thrash scene. And I just feel they often don't get the credit they deserve. A lot of people talk about Exodus and obviously rightfully so, Violence. All those bands always get mentioned, Death Angel. But a lot of bands, and that reminds me of another band, great band that also gets criminally overlooked, is Vicious Rumours. And for me, Vicious Rumours and Laaz Rockit have always been sort of on a similar level, not musically, style-wise, but sort of on a what do you call it, on an underrated level, if you catch my drift. So, really a great band, and this album really is worth checking out again. The artwork alone is like phenomenal. I mean, I really loved Know Your Enemy, the album cover. I love the album. I love the Annihilation Principle cover art. Nothing Sacred was also great. They did contribute a song called Leatherface, a single, and I believe that was for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. I stand under correction if it's not right, but they did definitely do something towards a horror flick like that, so definitely. yeah, go check them out. The band has really brought out a few cool things in their time, and like I said, a really, yeah, one of the core pillars of the Bay Area scene, and very often criminally overlooked. So sadly, so I'll drop in some links below, and if you like my channel and enjoy my channel, hit us with that like button, and you're always helping us with that. And subscribing, obviously wonderful, go for it. And if you feel like supporting me, and there will be a PayPal link below, so we can keep this channel flowing and keep supplying you with reviews. What I'd like to add is I'm purposefully not doing that many modern reviews, as I personally don't buy everything that comes out. I don't do binge listening, like everything a label sends me, I listen through it and then, sort of smash together a review and that'd be it. I personally, I pick out bands that I enjoy, and if there's something new that I really find great, I'll do a review. But otherwise, I think this sort of bulk review thing, and always being the first to review an album, I think an album really takes time, and sure, there are a few albums like that really maybe strike immediately, but I think it's often unfair to really do a rushed effort. The album came out yesterday, then give it 5 spins and then drop your review kind of thing. It's not my kind of thing. And I think another reason is because I just don't. I do listen to new bands. I go to Bandcamp and check some bands out, but very often I'll wait until they really get stuck in rotation, and where I really invest in one or two of their albums, and they become a sort of thing where I'm very familiar with them. And so a vast majority of what you'll find on my channel is probably retro albums, old albums which I feel haven't really received the attention they deserve, and now and then when there's something new, I'll highlight that. Anyway, see you next time. That was Laaz Rockit for you. Check it out.